Kakadosh Boker or Daf Yomi Masechet Batra Daf Kuf Nun Zayin Amud Aleph says the Mishnah. We are down by the Mishnah. The Mishnah says Nafal Bayit Alav ve'al aviv or alav ve'al morishav. So imagine right now, if right now the house is going to fall down on Reuven and on his father Yaakov, okay, and they pass away, or alav ve'al morishav, or on him and his people, whether it's going to be the brothers or the people, the children. So Vayita alav kitubat isha balchov. Now he's got a ketubah of his wife and a balchov. Now there's going to be a problem. Who died first? Right? Who died first? Yeah, everybody's with me. One more time. Who died first? Why? If you're going to tell me that he died first, right? You have two people, father and son. Yes. They both died. The question is who died first? Now, why? Because you had a ketubah of the wife, plus you had a balchov, somebody that he owed money to, that they're coming to collect. Now, if you're going to come and you're going to say, right, that, well, we're going to see now the Mishnah, what each person is saying. So, Yorshei Av Omrim, the Yorshim of the father come and they say, Haben met Rishon, the son died first, Ve'achar kach met ha'av, and then afterwards died the father. So therefore, right, since the son does not inherit the father because he died first, so therefore they're not going to be meshubad to any type of piraon chov or any type of kid, nothing. Why? Everything goes to the father, and therefore since the father passed away, right, who gets everything? It's going to be what? It's going to be the Yorshei ha'av, not the ben, right? Ubalchov omrim. Now the balchov is going to come and he's going to say, ha'av met rishon ve'achar kach met ben, that the father died first and then afterwards was the son. So it comes out that he actually inherited his father, and therefore all these properties are going to be mishu'abad to the chov of Reuven. So now you have a problem here. What's halacha? You've got a machloket who died first. So imagine one more time. You got father and son. The son owes money to Mr. X. They both died. Now, it all depends. If the father died first, everything goes to the son. If everything goes to the son, all the properties are now subjugated to the loan of the son. But if you're going to tell me that the son died first, so therefore everything really behemet was to the father, so now the father's inheritors take everything. The balchov, they're there, hey, we want nothing. There's nothing what you could do. Yeah? So what's the halacha? Bet Shammai Omrim, Bet Shammai come and they say, Yahloku, divide between them. Yeah? Divide the money between them. Why? It's like mamona mutal b'safek. We've got money which we don't have. We have a doubt. What is this money exactly? So divide it. Bet Hillel omrim. Bet Hillel come and say nechazim, right? Becheskatan. Leave the nechasim in the chazakah. What does that mean now? Leave the nechasim in the chazakah. It says we're going to put the nechasim in the chazkat of the Yorshei Av, and therefore we're not going to collect anything for the chov and the ketubah, because since the Yorshei Av for sure are going to be yoresh, right? For sure. So therefore, it's like they're muchzakim in it. Now, the balchov and the isha, they're safek. Can they take the or not? So en safek motzemi de vadai. So therefore, a safek cannot take out from avadai. Fine. That was a Mishnah. Everyone clear until here? Okay, very good. Says the Gemara. Tnan hatam. We learned over there in a Mishnah. Hamalvet chavero b'shtar. If you're going to lend your friend with a document, Gove, right? Minechasim meshubadim. You're going to come and collect from nechasim meshuabadim, right? How? Al yedei edim. Gove minechasim benechorin. So one more time. If you have a document, you could be gove minechasim meshubadim, properties that even have a lien. But if you only did it through edim, meaning that there's no shtar, there's only witnesses, right? And no shtar, then you're going to take from benechorin. Okay? Again, one more time. Yeah, even from the Chasim Shubadim, right? That means, for example, he went and he sold it or whatever it is. It's going to be to somebody else, right? If it's going to be, again, with a document, everything has a lien on it. If it's going to be with Edim, no. So by Shemuel comes and he asks the following question, and he says like this, the ikne. Imagine right now, a person comes and he says that he's going to be mishabed even properties that he's going to buy in the future. Dikne, in the future. Vikana, and now what happens is he's going to acquire, right? So the love is going to acquire a karka after the halva. So mahu, what is the halacha? Yeah, he comes and he says this. What is the halacha? Is it going to be mishubad or not? So aliba de Rabbi, according to Shitat Rabbi, that he says that Loti ba'ilechad v'day kana. For sure, according to Rabbi Meir, you're going to be koneh. Because remember, if according to Shitat Rabbi Meir, Adam koneh, right, he could be makneh davar shelo ba'olam. This is something which is not ba'olam, but you could be makneh. So for sure, for Rabbi Meir, it's going to be mishubad. But when the question going to be, according to Rabbanan, that they come and they say, Adam makneh davar shelo ba'olam, according to them, what's halacha? Can you acquire it or not? So Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, Tashma, let's try to bring a proof from the Mishnah Ketubot. Right? There it says, we're talking about a malveh, that he took out a shtar chov on his friend. And the loveh takes out another shtar chov, right, that says that he sold it after the alva. So therefore, Admon comes and he says, he could say, if I was chayav lecha, so therefore I should have actually paid it back, not to sell it. So what's going on? Chachamim omrim, and therefore that's a proof that I actually paid you off the debt, and that's it. Chachamim omrim, Chachamim, and they say, he was very smart that he sold him the field. Why? Because basically what happens now is that he could actually collect the debt from this karka, right, like a mashkon. And because if he wouldn't have sold it, so then he could have come and he could have just said, listen, I'm going to take everything. But now that he came, now he's got karka, he could actually collect from the chov. So therefore, this karka is acquired. So now, even though he could come, he could say, this is going to be in the future, that I'm going to sell, right, that I'm going to buy, right? So Elmaleh Rava pushes off this, he refutes this proof, and he says, Minei kamarta? He says, from him, meaning that you're going to come and you're going to talk about where you're collecting a chov from the properties of the loveh. That's what you're bringing a raya. Minei afilu miglimad al kitfeh. When we're talking about from him, even if he's got a jacket on his shoulders, right? Miglima me'al kitfeh, right? By the way, you should know in the Dot Mizrach they have that in their lashon of the. It's their ketubah is the rashba, right? And the rashbas, right? We have the right the Anshe Kastia, the Megurashim, right? But they have right the Dot Mizrach. They usually use the ketubah of the rashba, and the ketubah of the rashba says that we're talking about that afilu me'al glima me'al kitfeh, mamash afilu me'al mamash yesh lem jacket, mamash yesh lem po khalifa me'al ktefayim. Hakol mishu'abad lektubat ishto. Everything is going to be subjugated to the ketubah of his wife. So he says, Mineh afilu miglimad al kitfeh. Huh? Miskanim. Okay. That's so Kika mi'ba'elan. So he comes and he says, right? Who is the one which is when is the question exactly? The ikne that he comes and he says that I'm going to acquire the kanau machar. He acquires it and then he sold it. Or the ikne the kana ve'orish. He says that I'm going to buy, and he actually did buy, right? And he actually gave it to Yerushim, right, when he died. So in such a case, it's not from the Loveh himself, but rather it's from the Lokeach or from the Yerushim. And that's the halacha. The halacha is, do we say that this is going to fall the shi'abud? Meaning, is it going to be chal the shi'abud on this karka or not? If it's on the guy himself, for sure it's going to be chal. Then there's no questions. Because we just said, here we're not talking about that. Here we're talking about the Yerushim got it from their father. Or we're talking about the people that bought it from him, which are the Lekuchot. Is it going to be Mishu'abad or not? So let's see. Amar Rav Chana, says Rav Chana, Tashema, let's try to bring a proof from our Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Nafal ba'it alav ve'alaviv. If right now it fell on him and on the son, right? Or actually, this is the second case, on him and the father. Okay? Alav ve'al morishav, or on him and on the people that are the morishim. Now this guy has a kitubat isha or balchov against him. Yorshe'av, so the inheritors of the father come and they say, Haben met rishon, that the son died first and then afterwards the father, or balchovot, and the balchovot are going to say the exact opposite, that the father died first and then afterwards the son. Now he says like this, Isal kadaitach, if you're going to tell me now, the ikne, that he could come and he could put a shi'abud on even properties that he will buy in the future. That's the ikne. The ikne means I will buy, right? With the aleph, right? So he says, the kanau machar, right? And then he comes and he bought and he sold. The ikne, right? Or he says also the ikne and the karav orish. He bought it and then he gave it as a yerusha. Lo mishtabed, right? Now you're going to tell me now that it's not going to be a shi'abud. Nehi nami de'av mit bereisha. So even if it is that the father did die in the reisha, the ikne, right? Even if be'emet the father died and the son is the one that's inheriting everything, still, when he says ikne, it should have worked. And therefore, if it's going to be working, so now what's the machloket then? From the fact that you come and you say, right, that the ikne, so it's a proof that what? That it's mishtabed, right? But if not, what is the machloket here? What's going on? So he comes and he says, Elmaleh Rav Nachman says Rav Nachman, no. Zira chavrin tirgemeh zira our friend already translated this by saying it's a mitzvah la yetomim lifruach chovat avihem. Even if you're going to tell me that it's not mishuabad, there's a mitzvah. You know what the mitzvah is? There's a mitzvah that you should pay your father's debts. Why? Imagine right now what people are saying about your father. If you're going to say, listen, I'm not obligated to pay my father's debts. And now, exactly, what? Now the people are going around saying, look at this guy, look at this guy's father, look who. So therefore, there's a mitzvah ala yetomim lifruach chovat avihem. And therefore, it's not because of a di'ikne or not, but even if it wasn't written di'ikne, even without that, right? And even if it's not going to be mishuabad, you have a mitzvah to be poreah hov shel ha'aba. So because of that, it's not minadin. You're right, it's a mitzvah. It's not minadin, it's a mitzvah. Okay? Fine. So matki. So again, we don't have a proof if you say the ikne is it going to be mishuabad or not, because we just say it's not a proof. Maybe be'emet it was just a mitzvah, and there's a mitzvah to pay off, right, the chov of the fathers. So matki Ravashi comes and he asks the following question: Mil ve'al pehu, right? Remember that we spoke about two different cases. We either spoke about the case of al yedei din or shtar, right? Al yedei din means witnesses only, right? That you have two witnesses about the sale. And shtar is a document. There's another case. Mil ve'al peh. Mil ve'al peh means no witnesses and no shtar. It's an oral loan. Okay, so mil ve'al pehu. He comes and he says, V'ravu Shmuel de'amni tarvayu, and therefore, in such a case where it's going to be mil ve'al peh, since it's not written in the shtar di'ikne, right? So it comes out that to do with the collection of the karka, it's not mishtabed. Because remember, anything which is mil ve'al peh, it's not from nechasim mishuabadim. But there's no call, there's nothing there. Meaning there's no rumors, there's no voice, no witnesses, no nothing. So therefore, you cannot collect from the Chasim Mishuabadim. Rav Shmuel Damri Tavai and Rav and Shmuel both say, Mil ve'al peh, eno go velo mina yorshim, velo mina lekuchot. Right? So they both said that a mil ve'al peh, you can never collect whether it's going to be from the Chasim from the yorshim or Nechasim from the lekuchot that they bought from the person. So it comes out that even according to Shmuel himself, right, that he's the one that had a question. He was the one that had the safek. Do we say the iknes mishtabed or not? But to do with mil ve'al peh, for sure you don't have that, right? And therefore we can't start obligating, right, this person to come and start paying it back because listen, there's nothing here. It's a mil ve'al peh. There's nothing here. Fine. Ela hamani. So therefore, be'emet, right? Who's our Mishnah then? So he says our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. That he's the one that says davar shelo ba'olam. So if you remember, according to Rabbi Meir, since you could be acquiring something which is davar shelo ba'olam, so therefore what happens is that in such a case, a person could be mishabed nechasim even if they didn't come and he's going to buy them in the future. Because remember, right? A person can acquire something which is not coming in the future, and therefore, right, that's what we're talking about in the Shita of Rabbi Meir. Amar Rav Yaakov minehar pekot mishmed Ravina. Says Rav Yaakov minehar pekot in the name of Ravina. Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof now. Shtarei chov mugdamin. Any shtar chov which is going to be mugdam, which means that it's got the date which is predated. It's going to be psulin. It's going to be pasul to collect, right? Why? Because predated means that, for example, today is what? November 28th. He's going to write down November 1st. It's predated. So when he writes down November 1st on the document, since it's predated, it's pasul. Why is it pasul? Because now he's going to start collecting from fields or whatever it is, but it was never meshubad. He only did it today. So within the last 28 days, if somebody came and they started buying and selling, and you're collecting, that's wrong. That's why if it's going to be mugdam, it's pasul. Meucharim, what else we did it? Post-dated. Post-dated means today's November 28th. We did it December 21st. It's going to be also kasher. Why? Because you're not collecting anything bad. What's the problem? Right? If it was anyway written December 21st, I mean, you can only collect anything which happens after December 21st, not before. So therefore, what's the problem?
But if you did keep the loan 10 days before.
If you're going to tell me now, if you're going to tell me now that if I'm going to buy it in the future, and then you come and you buy a new seller, you buy your morish, lo mishtabed, and it's not going to be mishtabed, why is it that meuchad is going to be kosher? When you tell me that meuchad is going to be kosher, diiknehu. Why? You could purchase this field, right, after the alva'ah, and before the zman, which is written in the shtar, and you could actually collect from it shelo kadin. Why? Because even if it's going to be written diikne, it's not going to be meshubad. So if it's not going to be meshubad, what's going on here? So he comes and he says, so you're right. Hamani, who is this again? It's going to be Rabbi Meir. That Rabbi Meir comes and he says, that a person could come and he could acquire something which is not in this world.
Suppose that is okay.
Yes. Amar of Meshalshem Ichmed Rava. So it says of Meshalshem the name of Rava. Tashemar, we're going to try to bring another proof. Leshevach karkaot keitzad. What does it mean now when a person's going to come and he's going to say that you're not going to be able to collect from shevach karkaot, right? Which means it's something which appreciates in the field. So, for example, you had a field, and now it appreciates in value. So you cannot collect from that which it appreciated, that which it went up in value, right? Any balchov. How do you know that? So he says, imagine right now you sell a field to your friend, and then it went up in value, and then the balchov comes and he grabs it, when he's only going to be able to collect, and he could only collect from the principal, right? And even menechasim mishubadim, but the shevach only from nechasim menechorin, not from nechasim mishubadim. Now, if you're going to tell me, and that's going to be lo mishtabed, so balchov, why is he going to be goved shevach bichlal? If you're going to tell me that it's not going to be mishtabed at all, so why in the world would he collect from shevach? He shouldn't be able to collect from shevach. Shevach is something which is appreciating that happens afterwards. That's like keilu ikne. It's keilu that I'm going to buy, because right now I got principal. The principal is what you bought for. You paid, that's principal. Now it went up in value. So now that going up in value, which is appreciation, that's keilu. What he's trying to say, that's ikne. So if that's going to be like ikne, which means that it's going to go in the future that I'm going to buy, so why in the world are you collecting from shevach? So answers the Gemara the same thing again. Hamani, who is this? It's a bemidi that he says so he says the Gemara, even if you're going to tell me dikne kana umachar dikne kana veorish lo mishtabed, it's not going to be mishtabed. Halo mishtabed. It's not going to be mishtabed. Now, if you're going to tell me mishtabed, right? Lava vechazar vekana. What happens right now if he borrowed money? And then again, he borrowed money from another person. And then again, he bought the karka. What's halacha? Is he going to be mishtabed to the first person or to the last person? Remember, he borrowed from two different people. There's two different people that he has a loan against. Is it the first one or the second one? It's kilo that nowadays, obviously, they don't let you do that. But imagine I'm going to take two mortgages from two different companies. The first one and the second one, right? So who's the mishtabed? We actually had this question, and they sent from there, from Eretz Israel, Rishon Kana. The first one is the one that's koneh, and it's mishubad to the first balchov, which only makes sense, right? That means the first one that has a lien, everything is mishubad to him, right? Which one? Nothing. It's too late. That's the shita of Rav Nachman. Yeah, Rav Nachman, the first guy, everything is mishubad to him. Says Rav Huna, yachloku, divide it. Divide between the two of them. V'chen tanim Rav Huna, yachloku. Amar Ravina comes and he says, Madura kameh kamad Ravashi. In Machzor Rishon of the learning, we learned from Ravashi. Elmaleh, he said, Rishon kana. But Madura Batra de Ravashi, Amalan, Yachloku. This is, by the way, a Musara scale, right? I apologize, we're going very quickly because we have the shiur coming right now, but it's a Musara scale. They had Madura Rishona, Madura Batra. What does that mean? When they used to learn, the second time when they used to come and they used to learn, it was the first time that they're learning. And I had a Rav like that. I had a Rav in grade 12. I still remember until today, the Shitan tells was, they used to learn a Gemara. They used to write all their notes. The second time around learning, again, the cycle was usually a 7-year cycle. When they used to learn again, they would never look at their notes. They would first learn the sugya as if they never learned it before. And they would write all their notes. All of a sudden, when they finish, they take out both notes and they start comparing. And they start saying, 1 second, why did last time I learn it like A, and this time I learned like B? Or why this time I learned, and I came out the same way, or I came completely. And then you have another shiur, just on what you just did now. So there's Madura Rishona, Madura Batra. So he says Madura Rishona was he paskin the first one. The first one is acquiring the first bank or whatever it is. The second one was no yachloku. You divide it. V'hilchata. What is halacha? You divide it. You actually divide it between the two different. You divide it between the two different. You divide it between the two different ones. Okay. Exactly. Meitvei. So we're almost done. Meitvei leshevach karkaot keitzad. What's the case of shevach karkaot? הרי שמחר שדה לך ולשפיך, הוא בא יכול עובר לטרפה, וכשהוא גובה את הכלב מנזוכים משובדים, ואת השם נכסים מנוחרים. ואם איתנה, if you're going to come and you're going to tell me, לבה קנה ולבה קנה יחלוקו, now if you're going to come and you're going to tell me that what? That you should divide it between the two, which that's the יחלוקו, that everyone here is having a difficulty to understand. He says, חצי שבח מבעלה, so you should only take half. Why does he take the full amount? He should only take half. He says, why? He comes and he says, it's only a חצי שבח for the balchov, right? And not the shevach kulo, because he says when you're going to come and you're going to sell it, he's only going to be mitchayev to half of it if they're going to come and take it. So therefore, why are you going to come and you're going to take it? So it's actually left off with a question, right? And the din is that bemet is yachloku shnehem, right? The shevach b'shaveh, right? And be'emet, he can only take half. And that's be'emet, it's finishing with a question. So, okay, again, obviously we have to find out what is halacha. Halacha is going to be, my gove, what does it mean, gove? Diktani, he says, chatzei shevach, you're right. In Achanami, you're only allowed to collect half. So he could only collect half of the shevach, right? Because it's yachloku. So once it's going to be yachloku, so you could only take half of the shevach.